invasion of a full scale. Like in the room that we are now located in, you don't see much things because we have blackout, so we have the lights like this. But when the lights will be back, it will be soon. We can show you the room when it was. So we had the whole room full with food cans and dry food like mivina, stuff like that. So we used these cans. Later on, we took away the stickers. And when we were traveling in other countries, we bought cans in those countries because it was very heavy and absolutely useless to bring the cans from Ukraine. So we were buying them. For example, when we traveled to Germany or to Spain, we were buying the cans local and taking off the stickers. And also these cans you saw in the video, we couldn't take off the stickers because they were placed in the way that you cannot take them off. So I think we were not even thinking about taking them off. I think it was just there. But yeah, these are original. Let's say.
And you should understand, guys, that in the first days of invasion, people brought so much food there because we were living here in the premises of English Theater as the shelter. We hosted people here, babushkas, old people, families, and everybody brought something. And you never know what they brought, and you never know the quality of the food. So every performance when Annabelle opens the can, it's kind of like a real challenge for her because she really doesn't know if the food is spoiled or not. So the expression on her face is genuine just because of that. So,
well,
yeah.
and it's I would not say that it's about spoiled, but it is more what content is inside, because we had some stuff with tomato, which we originally wanted to use because it's a strong metaphor. But also sometimes I opened the can and there was beans, and it was just like a very strange color, this greenish, whatever color. And another time there was some rice with some meat, or some meat which smelled like horrible. So yeah, this was. But every time I open, I actually don't notice what is inside until the end of the show because I'm so inside the process. So like in character, so I react more like character. But then when the thing is done and I take this and the toothbrush, and I'm like, oh my god. This is so yucky.
And what was the symbolism, the significance of the cans? Why have you decided to use them? That's a question from audience, not from me. I just was wondering if you brought it in your, alarm valiza. Seems like yes.
It would be really nice to hear your thoughts about that. Like what did you see? And then we can share what we placed there. But I don't think we really did something very specific. There was a lot of variants of what is that. But yeah, it's interesting. What did you see and what was it for you?
So who has a theory? Anastasia was saying that you know why.
Yeah, I did not know, but I had an idea. Like maybe, yeah, it's just like you used the toothbrush for like trying to eat the can. Like for me, it was like when you are in the situation when it is alarms and shooting, bombing, you are somewhere on the ground and you doesn't care what to eat, and with the help of which tools, yes, with the spoon or toothbrush, doesn't matter. Like for me, it was like just when, in situations like this, you stop to think a lot of comfort or the things that used to be important in life before.
Mm-hmm.
May I add something, please? Yeah, I had the idea that maybe when you live in theater in a basement, you have to hide, and like the line between different activities of your life is lost. So you can brush your teeth, and the second moment you can go to, I don't know, to hide. You can take your books and everything together. So it's, when we in normal life, you have a different schedule of your life, like this time for brushing teeth, this time for eating, this place for eating, this place for to sleep. And when everything is mixed, you have you are losing maybe the feeling of dividing your life into different parts, into different activities. And I think psychologically it's very difficult, because when you have your schedule, when your life is clear, your daily routine is clear, it makes you like more like understand what you do in which moment, and your life is like more how to say more ordered. But when you have everything together in the same place, and you don't know what happens in 5 minutes, and you eat when you can, you brush teeth when you have water, you read when you have light. It's like for me it was like maybe about this
Yeah, that's definitely was one of the layers, the whole usage of this object, like toothbrush, sleeping bags, cans, telephone. We just were using everything we had back then in when we were creating this piece in March of 2022. And the idea was just to testify what was happening, how people were trying to get through this, like with this little daily routine, pretty much as you say. There is also another point to that, which is more connected to the meaning of the character in the piece. And this is a very interesting question, like whether you got or not, who is the main character of this piece? What could you say, like after watching?
Who is she?
Yes,
Yeah.
who is the person, narrator of the story?
I know, so I will not tell because I read the book, but I let the audience guess who was the narrating of this play.
I will say that it is impossible to say when you skip the first part of the play.
Okay, for those who were on time to our show.
Okay, there wasn't many, so I will answer. I
Uh-huh.
death.
Yes, exactly. So the first and the last parts of the performance is a little bit more clear, but it's okay if you didn't get it. Actually, a lot of people don't. We also didn't in some moments. For me, it was hard sometimes to switch between Lizelle, like this kind of little girl, and the character of Death. But the ending, the last monologue, it is pretty much the monologue of Death. So she's telling how tired she is. She's telling how she's exhausted to clean up the mess humans do. And in the can was something she was avoiding to open all the performance. So during everything that was going on from the very beginning till the end, she was not opening this, let's say, Pandora box, the question that bothered her as pretty much the essence of what she needs to do to collect and to, let's say, eat the meat, the bodies. So there is this kind of layer to it as well, that when you open the can, it's just pure meat, and she just needs to, or blood or whatever it is inside. And at the same time, it's just simple food. So we played with both of these meanings. So both of them are fine to interpret. And yeah, she kind of needs to eat it. She needs to do her job, but then she decides not to. And then she chooses the book, the art over cruelty, over pretty much her job. And she decides to write a book about what happened and not go on with, like, it's just some kind of a topic idea of what would be great if Death leaves us alone, but and writes a book. So this is pretty much something that happens in the end. I guess there are more to it. Maybe Alex, you want to add something?
Well, yeah, I guess that's the thing that struck me when I first read the book, and I read it before the invasion, and I couldn't stop rereading it. And then when the whole idea of the performance came, because we knew that we wanted to stage something. We wanted to create a message from the middle of the war, living in a bomb shelter, And then this book was just there in the bookshelf, and I was just going looking for material, and I was having different ideas. But then I just saw this book, The Book Thief, by Markus Zusak, and I like, yes, that's it. The story of World War II, little girl Lizelle Meminger, and the book starts from Des talking. That's so surprising that so few authors really do it. So it's Des who's the main character of the book, not Lizelle, but Des. So then the whole idea was, what is that? What is the nature of Des in the human world, torn apart by war, and what's her job? And Marcus gives a very simple answer to that, the author of the book. So the Des is just the cleaning lady. She's cleaning up the mess that we human create. And then out of the whole book, which is a great novel, you guys should read it. It's a huge book, very nice, very cool book. We kept how many? 7 pages, 9 pages?
Yeah.
Something like that, few pages. But we keep the story of Des, pretty much all of the big monologues of Des we kept, because that's what's fascinating for me and for us. And yeah, the main idea was that you just clean after people. And what do you do if you don't want to do it? Is it possible just to stop the war if Des gets tired? And that's what we kind of like, being in the middle of the war, we had this idealistic idea that what if the Des just stops? Will it stop it? Or what if you can't stop it, what if you write a book about it? Will it help? And our answer is yes. You cannot stop the war, you cannot stop the murder, but you can write a book about it. And then you feel a little bit easier about it, like reflecting and everything. So that's the main idea of the whole story. And it appeared to be a very powerful idea. We still live with that, I believe, right? Not in the full essence, but we still use this idea in many other performances and artistic messages. Like, we document reality, trying to bring a little bit of relief to ourselves in the first place, I believe, and to everybody who would watch this, to you guys. That's the question to you guys. Did you feel, how do you feel now? Do you feel easier? Do you feel harder? Do you feel, stressed? Do you feel bored? Do you feel drunk? How do you feel?
And yeah, especially considering that this piece is
Drunk, not yet.
Maybe it's deeper than it seems from the beginning. So yeah, it's some kind of insight. May I ask you one question? What do the books symbolize? Because books in vertical position, for me, it was like symbol of people. Because at the beginning she was like alone, and she had to like surround her with something and with someone. And if you're alone, like books become your friends. And for me, they in vertical position, because first I think you use books for different to create different images, different symbols. So when they were horizontal, you were playing on them, and and when they were vertical, for me it was like people around. And when you put the food to each of them, it's like you were feeding the people. For me, it was like this. But now, when I understand the context, maybe it wasn't. I wasn't right. And for me, like life of a person is like a book which starts and which ends usually. And there are different authors. Sometimes you are author of your book. Sometimes some like just destiny. Sometimes books are deep. Sometimes they are just like very very boring or very like primitive, like people. So did you think about this, or it was like something? It was something else about books.
Thank you very much, really, for every interpretation of all the interpretations you named. I guess they cannot be wrong. I would add also one more layer to that, because everything you say is there. It's also the context of the book itself, because the book is called Oblivion, or Forgotten We Shall Be, if translated from Spanish. And this is a book which we published in my publishing house, and we were covering the windows of our theater with them. And so when we started to make this performance, we just took them, something that was staying here, we just took them to rehearse. But then the whole meaning went beyond. because it also we took a little part from this text as well into the performance. The one that is talking about the father conversation, like he allowed me to do this, and all this relationship with father is from this book, like a little paragraph from there, and it all went like crazy in terms of how many senses it brought to like, you know, this is a protection, this is a friendship, this is an international friendship, because the author of this book is a great friend of ours who really supported us as well the first days and keeps supporting us till now. And it is also the entrance to the wider world, because we were living in a very isolated in March 2022 environment. Like I really remember this feeling that for me it felt like the planet ends in my street, you know. Every time we were like going out and buying some medicine from our neighbor for our neighbors and from the shop, it was happening all in one district. And so for me, it felt for like some time that everything else in outside doesn't exist. And then when we started to play with this book, we started to communicate with the actor, the writer of this book, and we wrote him like, "Hello, could we use a part of your book?" And so after this communication, he started to invite journalists to talk to us, and we're like immediately it was like the world became such a huge place. And you know, so it's like also this that is not the part of the performance itself, like, but it's a part of the whole story behind this performance, because it is very everything that happens till now with this performance, for me it's very postmodern, because it is a story in a story in a story, and it is real, and at the same time it's fiction, and at the same time it's art, but at the same time it's documentary. At the same time it's just a testimony of what was there, and like in the same time it is a fiction, complete fiction. So, so those books, they are this kind of bridge between all those realities, I would say, additionally to what it means to the characters inside the show. And yeah, of course, for us, like, it is the main symbol, I guess. It is a symbol of art, as well as the musician. We had two musicians playing with us in the performance. It's Valerie Leif and Alexei Afanasyev, and they were playing live, and we were playing with this dialogue between music and the books, and between artists and like the possibility to listen to the beauty despite of all the terror. So there is one moment when she cannot listen anymore, she cannot connect to this artistry, and it comes back in the end. So this is something we really kind of were experiencing ourselves. So in the very first 2 weeks or even 3 weeks of the full-scale invasion, we had this, a lot of artists did, this thought of how art is useless in front of such a atrocity. But then you kind of step by step, you recover this faith in that it is needed and it is doing something meaningful. And so this is what we testified as well by this performance, the kind of like faith in what art can do. Kind of a long answer to your commentary, but yeah, everything you said as well is very there. So it is people, friendship, support. Some people also, some audiences saw graveyards, saw the and domino of how like everything has its consequence. You touch one and everything falls, and it's like a lot of things you can see there, which is, I think, also beautiful, considering that we didn't put anything when we were rehearsing. We were just doing very instinctively this play. Comparing, for example, to other plays we do with a lot of preparation, a lot of pre-thinking. This was just very impulsive thing to do.
I was this kind of people who saw a graveyard, but yeah, there are many opinions. The most I remember from your play is the phrase. It's really stuck in my head. The sirens were too late. Because I watched this play a couple weeks ago, and at the same day, Russia attacked Konotop with a ballistic rocket. And my mom lives in Konotop. I'm from there. And I called my mom, and my mom was like, "You know what's funny? At first, I heard the rocket. Then the house started to shake. Then every window started to vibrate. Then I heard the explosion. And only few minutes after, I heard the alarm. I heard the sirens." And which is why I have a question for you, a bit personal. Do you guys still hide? Do you obey sirens?
Alex is laughing.
We never obeyed sirens.
In the basement, come on, man.
We never obeyed them, you know.
It depends. We learned to check Telegram channels and see, depending on what kind of, like if it's ballistic and if it's, oh, light is back.
Yay! Let that be light.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So if it's a ballistic rocket and it's deeply at night, we go to bathroom or to corridor. If it's daytime, I usually try to go to the shelter. If it's just some drones, then we keep sleeping. Yeah, but I guess it happens also because you need to prioritize sometimes. If you want to keep making things, you need to sleep. If you need to, so it depends on that mostly. How much of tiredness we have, how many plans for next day we have. From time to time, I think it is too much of people pretending like nothing happened in the morning of some shelling. Like, for example, last night and in the morning, everybody were like nothing happened. But in fact, we already kind of like have this silent agreement that we will still keep working and stuff like that. But I guess it really depends on the day. The harsh one was there when a couple of days ago in Zaporizhia. I guess it is something that touches so much that you cannot pretend that nothing happened. So, I mean, we don't pretend nothing happens. When nothing really happens, like, I mean, no victims, then we just pretend that it's whatever. We slept enough. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Tell me if you don't.
I hear you. Yeah, I understand what you mean. What about the Celia? Celia is a cat. Does she hide under the table? Because my cats do.
No, she's too stupid to do that.
All right.
Too brave, courageous. There is another spin on that answer. And when you hear sirens, do you guys like? I know some people use headphones and music to just block out and be able to work. Do you use any tricks for that? No.
No, I guess if we sleep, we sleep. If we don't sleep, we go to the corridor, and that's no. Yeah.
But it's normal. I mean, it's a sign of safety. Somehow we still believe that hearing things is good. So I like music. I listen to music a lot. Annabelle suffers a lot from that. So when I do the music, and there are sirens, I usually low down the music to hear the explosions and the anti-air rates things working. So we still believe that if you hear something, you will have time to kind of like, I don't know. That's how it works. So you just lower down the music and you listen to the explosions because, well, yes, you do. You don't try to block it. That's, I guess, still with us. This, at least this kind of safety stays.
Do you guys made a lot of changes from rehearsals, from preparation into production? Like how much your play evolved or changed? Or it's pretty much unchanged since March 2022?
I think the biggest change we did was in summer of 2023. It was already like 1.5 years when we were performing it. And I think it was exactly the period when I personally had a very tough time relating to the experience in 2022. For example, right now, because of the distance of years, literally years, I can be a little bit more, I don't know, easily dive into that time and go out. And in 2023, because it was just like, I don't know, something happened with me, and I was really in a strange place every time playing this, like having this performance. And so we had long conversations about how to separate this experience, which is very personal and very like honest, and make it more acting than actually reliving it every time. And but it didn't impact much the form actually for audience. It was just more subtle in a way, of yeah, of acting choices and maybe some intonations. But overall, we didn't change much from the very beginning, like in form, because it is pretty complete, in terms of what it wanted to say, what we wanted to say, and how it was said. So yeah, we adapted it every time for a new venue in different countries, but generally it stays kind of the same, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would say yes.
I know the play was highly acclaimed, but I was wondering if you received any critique, and if people didn't like something about play, what was it?
I think we are going to from you guys. No,
Not this time, Alex.
Please share what you think, because we didn't play for 1 year, I guess, right? Exactly
Yeah,
1 year.
yeah,
Last time we showed it, it was the winter of 2023. So yeah, it was 1 year ago. And one of the reasons we stopped, it wasn't because we received the critique, but because we felt like it needs to have a little bit more time, distance for people. We could play it easily abroad, but in Ukraine, there was one performance I remember that was very tough for me and for audience. Audience liked it, but it was very tough, too tough. It was like as if it's not. Usually, this performance had this kind of impact on audience when audience felt relieved. Also, their experiences were seen, and it helped a lot during the conversation to talk through about the first days of invasion, what happened, and like it kind of unblocked something. It also made people like more connected to each other. But that one performance, everybody were so deeply, um, I don't know, brought back, I think, with this performance. We were like in silence for 2 minutes after, but this silence, which was very heavy. And after that, I remember I was like, I guess it's not the time for this performance right now, because in the beginning of the full scale, it helped. Right now, it brings people back to their memories, which is not helping. So we started to do another thing. But maybe right now, I don't know. This is why I'm asking, how do you feel, guys, right now? Because 3 years have passed almost, right? So it is different, very different. And each month right now is like a year. So um, for me, I also feel it different than last year. So I guess it's curious how you perceived it.
Well, we are abroad, we are in safety. So this time when I watched your play, I didn't cry, but the first time I watched it, I really cried. Maybe because do you still hear me, guys? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe because it happened in the week of bombing of my hometown. So yeah, I suppose in Ukraine it's heavily connected with the events, and I suppose when you were hearing sirens all night, you might not want to hear them the same day in the performance. Maybe that's the reason. But yeah, I believe you should really ask somebody who is in Ukraine. But even for us, it's very difficult to I understand that sirens are designed that way, like the siren is itself, so you would pay attention. You feel like your stomach turning upside down, and sound is very difficult to ignore. They made it by design, and they're very effective. By the way, in the beginning, at the beginning of the play, you said that you used the sirens from the Second World War, but they sounds to me very familiar. Nothing has changed in the sound of sirens.
Yeah, we have the same Soviet system, right, of the sound announcement. So it is, I guess, modernized, but the sound is similar. And important, I guess, to say that when we were, again, a lot of things we were doing in March 2022 are not like logical. So we use the sirens not because we wanted to impact the audience, but because we were just testifying what was going on around us. So it was like one of the rehearsals we had in one room, which is closer to the windows. And it was exactly with the piano. So Valerie was playing something, I was doing something with the books and having a monologue and actually not really hearing anything. And then I finished and Alex is like, oh my God, this is just unbelievable how reality is crossing to our room. And I'm like, what? And he filmed it. And he shows me, like, I'm telling, I didn't hear it. I was so into the process. And he shows me how, like, there was a siren outside and it just leaked through the room. And Valerie was playing piano. I was there doing some monologue and it's just what happened during the rehearsal. So we just took it into the performance because it is what it was. It is what it is right now. And that is why I guess it is also another hard thing for me personally to play this performance right now because people consider that we might consider, actually never heard this, but like that we manipulate, feelings. But when we did this performance, we didn't want to manipulate anyone. We just were testifying what was going on, So this is, I understand how it might be perceived.
But it's
right
also
now.
this one of the things because we took it like everything in this play accidentally and just happened. But then it started making sense, and I
Yeah.
still insist that it does make sense because in the beginning the sound of sirens comes from the telephone to Annabelle, like in many like this things, the notification and everything. And those who watch the performance, you see how she treats it. She starts hitting the telephone with the toothbrush, like shut up, shut up. And this is again the idea that it can be stopped like that simple. If I turn away and I close my eyes, the monster will go away. Like that's what kids do. That's what kids do when the monster comes out from under the bed. This human idea that the water is not there. If you close your eyes and close your ears, you will not hear a siren. Something that you would say in the beginning. But then the sirens come into the reality and start shouting. And if you hide behind the curtain, you can hide from sirens, right? If you go to the bathroom, you will be safe, right? If you go to the second corridor behind the wall, you're safe, right? If you go anywhere, you're safe. That's what people think. And we kind of make, as a director, I kind of make fun of this idea because it's impossible to be safe when the war is out there. Then, in the end of the performance, guys, if you watch it closely and if you watch it in person, I don't think it's possible to see it in the recording, but in the end, there is this, she says the famous phrase, like my favorite phrase, you can write a book about it, which is the only phrase, by the way, not written in the story, but it's written by us. You can write a book about it, and the melody starts playing. Alexei or Valerie, they play the melody, and then very quietly, very subtly, the sirens come in. And we spend so much time to synchronize it. So the sirens do synchronize with the melody. And my idea there was that, it's impossible to stop the war. It will go on. And it's impossible to hide from the war. It will come to any country. And we see it. It's going on in Ukraine. So eventually it would come to France. Eventually it would come to US. Eventually it would come to, that's my idea. I'm a radical director. She's a very liberal actress. So my idea is that it would come there. People should get ready. And we, at least in Ukraine, but eventually I think in every country, we should learn to live with the war. So it's not something unusual. It's not something that's, what happened. It's a nature. So we're looking for ways not to make it less traumatic. Through the art, through the music, through reading, through books. War is there, but we can live with that and stay humans.
And I guess to add to that, that's something we discovered also, like that is why we took this particular text, and both texts actually, both from Hector and from Marcus, and also the main parallel topic, right, is that like actually why we had this idea that war will not come, having 8 years of war before that, you know. So it is very um, strange how humans like disassociate themselves from everything that happens outside, because wars did not stop in 21st century. But I remember myself in the first days of full-scale invasion saying to the journalist like, how could it happen in 21st century? And right now I'm like, easy, easy, it happens everywhere. So it was really like very childish idea to think that war is somewhere far away. So yeah, this kind of ending of harmonizing with Siren, not to make it beautiful, but to learn how to live inside this kind of circumstances are, yeah, one of the crucial things. And yeah, and one of the solutions for us, and it still is, really, how, as you said it before, like, is to really remember these things, because one of the reasons why people consider there could not be war is because people forgot about the previous experiences. So it's just very easy to forget, and that's what we don't want to happen again. So we forget.
I have one little question in the last thing. No, you already mentioned twice your piano players, Valerie and Alexei. Can you please elaborate a little bit on these people who play in your play piano? Why they are changing? Who play now? Play when you perform in 2023?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they are not, well, Valerie used to work with us as an acting coach and a promising director. Then she like found more interest in music, and she's professional teacher of singing. Right now she has the singing studio called Doma, and it's in the premises of our theater, in one of the rooms where we had rehearsals. Valerie teaches singing, and it's very relieving to people. She has many students. She's great singing coach. That's what she does these days. She doesn't do much theater, which is a pity for me, but she's a great relief for her singing. Then Alexei is actually her boyfriend, and they do the business together. Alexei teaches piano, and he's a professional piano player. He's a great guy in that. He did 2 performances with us as a piano player. This one, the Book of Sirens, and the second one, Love at Times. And Love at Times is also the performance that we don't play anymore. One of our actors, the main actor there, he joined the army. He's defending our country right now as we speak, and we don't play the show, but we have a quality recording, really cool. And guys, the second one that you should watch is Love at Times, because it's about love stories at times of war. It's not from the basement, but it's basically, so I love this. It's basically a musical. So we're doing the show and we're singing, and it's about love, and it's like so much fun. Watch it. And Alexei is there playing the piano live. So we have the show, highly recommended. We can give it to you guys for free to watch at any time that you want. You actually should do it for the February 14th. It's actually fun to do, I believe. Then, right now, what the guys are doing, they have Doma studio. They are teaching piano and singing, building a community. People do come. They start having these kvartirniks, you know, playing and singing. It's really relieving for people, and we give our premises for this because it's really cool. And the new thing that we started is the new theater project of mine. It's called Teatr Voyennych Dij, the theater of war action. And that's a third theater that we have. 2 is not enough. The poetic, the SP community, not enough. The pre-English theater, not enough. The third theater that we start is Teatr Voyennych Dij. And in this one, the only actors on stage are veterans of war and current military servicemen. That was my idea. I was kind of pregnant with this idea for a year almost. And now it's official. It's registered. We have the pages. You guys check it out. It's everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. Teatr Voyennych Dij. And we have the first premiere on the 6th of January, I guess, with military guys on stage. Yeah. Anyhow, as a part of this project, we have the educational system called Dush, Dij, Учись Живи. And that's for them, for veterans, because right now we have lots of veterans in Ukraine. We're gonna have many more. That basically everybody will be there. So, anyways, they are here right now already, trying to incorporate into this kind of civil life, if you can call it, in Kiev. And there is a lot of problems with that. So as a part of this, we are trying to give them something like a hobby, something relieving. And in a week, Valerie, the teacher, she will be there doing a singing class for veterans and the families, members of the families of military guys. And it's a singing class. That's what she does with us. And that's what I believe sometimes it's even much more important than creating a performance. That's the thing.
And we were best friends. We are best friends with her. So when we were living together, I would just come into her room. She has this studio room, and when we were living together, she had piano there. She and Alexei is her boyfriend. Pretty much, it's like we entered the space to rehearse because every other room was full and crowded of people, and we were like, "Can we rehearse here?" And she's like, "Yeah, come on, of course." And there is a piano, and I was like, "Let's play piano." And let us stay. And that's it. That's how it was done. So firstly, it was created and the melody chosen and created by played by Valerie. And then later on, Alexei started to take part, as Alex said, in Nova Times performance, and it seemed just more reasonable because he's a piano player, Valerie is vocal teacher. So she said, like, if Alexei is already playing, let him play in this play as well. So that's why we have two of them participating. But it was also very important that it was not just a casted thing. It was like friends doing something together to keep sanity, So this is how it was.
Alex, could you please say a few words about Pro English Theater?
For English theater is great.
You were.
One more.
Good job. A bit more.
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, like what? Well, yeah. All right. Just to give you the insight, guys, For English Theater is the small independent theater right now in the premises of For English Theater. It's in Kiev, based in Kiev. It started as a professional theater in 2018, and we've been doing theater in English ever since. I'm the founder and the artistic director of this place. And the idea there was that we create theater performances in English in Kiev, and we bring them abroad. And we show them in Kiev as well. So it basically has and had and will have two missions: to show the whole world that Ukraine can create art of the European and world quality in the language that the whole world would understand in English, and still bring in the Ukrainian narratives there. So right now it's super important with the beginning of invasion. Like we started like bring this Ukrainian narratives into every performance. Pretty much it's always there. And we take it to festivals. We travel Europe. This year, we're talking about the tour to Canada. US is on the list. So yeah, it is. It will be there, and we're going on there. And also, we do it in Kiev. We try to do at least one performance per month. Not so many, but I want to actually do more because, like, I want to bring it to the minds of Kiev people and Ukrainian people that English is okay. To speak English is nice. To speak English is good. This is something that should be there. If you stop a person in the street of every Ukrainian town, he or she should speak English, respond to you, because that's normal. That's good. Not Russian, fuck's sake, but English. Excuse my language. Not excuse my language. I'm in Kiev. Don't excuse my language. That's what I mean. Thank you.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah. Liberal friends. Hear me out.
no, I just was wondering if French audience, if they're not too afraid. I'm not sure now. I have some questions.
Just saying that since he doesn't eat English time, it's okay.
You need to explain here.
Oh, Alex knows the French people don't like English people.
No, English food.
Okay, food.
Nobody likes it, even English people. That's okay.
Yay.
It's okay. Cheap,
English
but-
food is nice.
No, but it is important that it's not about language as per se. It's about possibility to communicate with everyone around the globe, right? So this is what is important.
Guys, it seems like you're doing great together. I couldn't believe like how you work together.
Very difficult. She's my least favorite actress.
That's not
She ate my brain with this performance. I got gray hair. That's why I shave now, Yes. Yes.
At the beginning of the play, by the way, you said that Annabelle is your favorite actress.
Well, the time has passed, you know. I changed my mind.
3 years.
3 years, you know.
Okay, maybe some questions from
You should see
audience.
this. That's
I insist that your fourth theater should be in French.
Okay.
okay.
We already had thought about Spanish, so
Whoever first brings us francs or what they have currency they have in Spain, we're in. Yes. What? Money is important. We need money. Yes. Dinero.
Mm. Yes.
I don't know. It's interesting. We can continue a long time just discussing how are you, what is the life in Ukraine now, what are your ideas.
Are you going to travel to France?
I go to
Alex, I suppose no, but Annabelle.
we were traveling with different performances, but yeah, for now we don't have this plans. But there is a performance Alex is doing together. Like the plan is to do it together with a French speaking actress. It was already created actually last year, but right now, like we want to reboot it, remake it, and hopefully with that performance, we can come to you in
Well,
person.
I can give you more because there is this thing, the new plans that Annabelle doesn't know. So, guys, the exclusive news for you is that right now, since it is like problematic to travel outside of Ukraine and so on and so forth, and time-wise and whatever, so I'm considering rebooting this Forget Me Not performance that was originally done with a French actress, Julie Zinot, great actress, and it's based on the play by a Ukrainian playwright, and it tells a story of a Ukrainian refugee woman working in La Rochelle in a flower shop. So she sells flowers, and with every flower she sells, the Ukrainian story reveals. So with every flower, like the memories come back. And it's very touchy. It's like very beautiful. And I did it here in Ukraine. We staged it. We showed it a couple of times. Then Julie left back to Paris. We wanted to restore the whole thing, but time-wise, logistic-wise, so kind of project stopped. And it's a gestalt that is not closed. So right now the plan is I want to restore the performance with an actress, with a French actress. It should be originally a French actress because it has a lot of Ukraine/France relationship story. And I'm looking for a professional actress, ideally in Paris, but not. It can be any town. And I would stage this performance via Zoom. It's no problem. I can do it. But I'm looking for the person, an actress who would commit. And then we would tour around France with it. We would definitely come to Nantes. Sure, no problem. Yeah, as soon as I find a proper person. If you guys have a proper person, an actress who supports Ukraine and who's a good actress, I'm in.
We can think about it.
It can be funded in La Montagne. I promise you that if you come in now, we provide you a very tasty can. For sure.
even maybe homemade foie.
Yeah, just since we have the both books you are using in display, the first one, the Book Thief, and the other one, Forgotten Shall We Not? Shall We Be? I'm sorry. So if our readers are watching, they can come to the library and take those books. I strongly recommend both of them for reading. They are, they are very nice literature, and we should thank Annabelle for bringing this to Ukraine. I suppose it's well, it's useful for us to read a story of somebody who is actually had placed such a value into human life and humans' values. Excuse me. So yeah, that's just a small mentioning of our library and the possibility that basically it's possible to see the play, as Alex mentioned, till the end of the war. So I fear for a long time, and also that we have some books related to this place available. In your opinion, what should be the main takeaway of this place for the audience? If you can just describe it in a couple of sentences.
Well, I guess we already spoke about that a little bit. That possibility to listen to whatever you can call for yourself art, to connect to something that is not necessarily beautiful aesthetically, but something that makes your soul beautiful again. That is this possibility to engage with it despite of everything that is happening, and actually maybe not despite but thanks to the experience of that we have right now, it is a very human experience. It is very compassionate experience. It is not welcomed, we didn't want it, but it is something that enriches us as people. So it gives us the ability to be compassionate. So this is something, I guess, what is important for me in this play, and what I would maybe invite you to check on. So, yeah.
So in monoplay, in your opinion, who is more important person, the actress or the director?
Oh no, why? I had such a beautiful monologue. Okay. The text.
The cans, the meat, the sirens. Yes.
Literally the meat of the play. Yeah, it was very little message. Okay, less provoking person for the question for you, Annabelle. Is it more easy to play like in a monoplay, or you feel way better with other people on stage?
It is different experiences. You rely on different things when you act solo or when you act with a team. But basically, for me, I guess it is a little bit more hard to do it as a mono, as a solo play, just because you constantly need to find this, find and create the situations to which you would react. Because acting, it is about reaction to whatever. It's not just you kind of learned how you do things and you just make them and done. Pretty much to make it alive, you need to constantly react to something, and it's not necessarily audience reaction. It is anything that happens, the venue, light, what happens in the space around, in what country you play. So, and you constantly need to be very observant and attentive to make it happen. Because if you don't, if you just do it automatically, then the play doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So, and if you do this same thing, but you have at least one partner on stage, you have this constant person to whom you can react. So even if you are not attentive enough, there is someone who will give you this live impulse. That's why it is a little bit easier, but still, you still need to do the same job if you want to have a good performance done. So.
Surprisingly, with your answer, you reminded me this sitcom Friends, and when Joy was explaining what acting is, he was saying acting is reacting. It doesn't mean to repeat it back. It means when something happens, you have to react to it.
Well, Joy was not wrong, you know.
We should give him more credit on depth of the character, but yeah, it was really, very funny too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Svetlana, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, yeah, you haven't finished. Yeah. I have first I would like to say that I've never, maybe I watched something recorded, like the play. Of course, I prefer to watch live, but I found out this time that it was very great to see face and the entire picture together. It was great opportunity you don't have in the theater. Well, because for example, I don't see very well. Usually, when I'm in theater, I struggle that I don't see really the emotion, the face. Face is very important part of the play of performance. And today, with all the light, with darkness, with this play of light, it was a great opportunity to see your face and all the scenery together at the same time. it was really great for me. So, and the question related to the previous question of Yula, when you while recording, so I imagine you didn't play there was no audience. So how did you feel while playing without people, without spectators, and without audience for a camera? And I imagine it's a different experience, but for the actor, for actress, it's I imagine it's not easy because when you see eyes of people who watch you, you can react, you can you can feel the feedback, what works, what doesn't work, and when you record it, it's not the same. So what do you find in yourself and inside of yourself to do you imagine people who can watch you, or you're just inside of yourself, inside of your image, inside of your story, and how does it happen? It's very interesting for me.
Thank you. First of all, yeah, thank you for noticing the work of. It's actually a great job of editor Anton. We will tell him that you liked it. Thank you. And then was the recording made without audience? I'm not sure about that.
I think so. I was there. Yeah, I'm always there, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, this one well, there are two recordings of the Book of Sirens. The first one is actual streaming. When we did the premiere of the show on the 9th of April, there is this unique and legendary streaming done with one camera, and sometimes I like it even better than this one because it's only one camera, but it's so raw in terms of poof, the feelings, and the actual speech of mine was actually recorded then. Then we edited it into this version that you guys seen.
I don't know. I'm second version.
Yes. So yeah, and the first time when we did the streaming, there were audience. There were 9 or 10 people watching us, sitting next to the camera, and it was such a unique experience because, guys, we were just Kiev region was just deoccupied. The guys who came were mostly the visitors of our art shelter here of the theater, and some guys who just came, and the experience was so unique they couldn't speak. Not because we did a great show, which we did, but because they were so unaccustomed to art anymore. The reality was so strong, they didn't know how to, this feeling of mutual sharing feelings and stuff was lost. So it was such a unique experience, I believe, even to act it out in front of people. Then, when we did this version, there were 3 cameras and Anton walking around, and he's a great editor, but he usually very loud in the terms he walks, and he breathes very loudly. So Annabelle did have an audience, like in terms of living walking, breathing Anton, and myself, and 3 cameras.
Yeah, and I think that it is mainly acting question, not connected to this particular play, but generally. And it is related to what I said in the previous, right? That you find hooks to react to in the story, in the objects, in the light, in Anton who walks around, in Alex who reacts, in whatever airflow is there. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it really depends. Like, if I'm cold, I would act in one way, reacting to my body state. If I'm like, I don't know, if the air is stuffed, I would act differently just because the environment is different. So I guess in solo play, but no, in generally, in each play, it is very tricky to rely on audience reaction, on their eyes, and because depends on, you can interpret wrong. So there are many situations like audience is feeling something, with people in audience are feeling something super deep, or having such a great time if it's a comedy, but not reacting because, I don't know, maybe they are not accustomed to react openly. So they have this poker faces. And you look at that and you think, oh my God, I'm failing, I'm doing a bad job. And you start pushing. So I had this when I just started acting, that I would bounce from the reaction of the audience, and then I would understand that I made a mistake because I went too far, too pushy, too like overacted or underacted, just because I thought that I understood what audience wants, be more like that or be more like this. And usually the nice part of it when audience is there is just to connect, but not in the way like, okay, what do they think or how do they analyze or what is going on with them, just to have this common presence, like that you are experiencing this together right now. Like it is new for them, it is new for you because you have never done this in front of this particular people. So this is something that I love about playing it in front of people, of course, and then to share this experience after. But when it is like this, like camera work, you still have this experience of going through this story as for the first time. And as you go first, like for your character, it is always for the first time. You cannot, like for Lizelle, it starts when the play starts. She doesn't know what will happen. So it is very important to be in that state of mind when you start to act, and then you just don't have to have this need in audience to give you push, I don't know if I made myself clear, because yeah, it is like the main thing of acting in front of camera. You just need to find hooks in different places. But I would say for theater, it is as crucial as for camera, not to be dependent on audience, to be connected with audience, but not to be dependent on them.
Okay, guys, it's time is up. We would like to, of course, thank you for joining us, for giving us insight of the play.
Thank you for choosing it and for watching it.
Yes,
Let's love it times next.
yes, definitely. I believe it's the start of a beautiful tradition, which will help. Alex, now you are not only helping Ukrainians learn English, you are helping French to learn English.
Which they hate to do, but yes.
There is some resistance, but no, I believe it's just stereotype. Actually, a lot of people speak English
Yeah.
here.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, people travel.
No,
Especially
and,
here in this room. Yeah, but generally younger generation is is okay with
course.
it. We don't suffer, but still there is room for improvement. And this
Thank
is
you
how.
very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate your review, and have a good one. Take care, and kisses to Tsila. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. And thank you
Bye.
for what you're doing.
Show forever. Show.
Все, відключаємося. Щасливо.
Це щасливі